emotional and intimate story of a relationship between two people without pulling the wool over anyone's eyes.
The movie's told in two sort of time frames, and they're intercut with each other, and that basically what you're experiencing is the end of the relationship and the beginning of the relationship.
One was nuclear war, and the other was that my parents would get a divorce. And when I was 20, they split up. And it was just such a confusing and bewildering time to me that I felt like I had to confront it with a piece of work, you know? And, you know, I was in my early 20s, entering my young adulthood, and I was trying to have healthy relationships of my own. And I felt like I just needed to confront those things that scared me as a kid so that I could move forward as a person, as an adult, you know? And so I started writing the film.
It's like one of those ordinary days, but then your life changes and you're never quite the same afterwards. I met Derek for coffee, and it turned into lunch, and that turned into dinner, and that turned into a long walk through lower Manhattan, and we wound up staring over the river at Brooklyn. And that was 6 years ago from reading it from that day to shooting it.
We just kept talking about the film. Every time we would talk to each other, it would be about Cindy or about Dean or about their relationship or about the mystery of love and where love goes over time. And 6, 7 years that I knew Michelle and 4 or 5 years that I knew Ryan, I never once saw them together. They were separate, you know what I mean? I knew Ryan individually, Michelle individually, and they were doing individual work on their characters. They didn't really know each other either. Now, that's for the past. The past was all about that kind of spontaneity, getting to know each other. The present was not done that way, you know? Whereas the past, they had individual work and they came together and got to know each other on screen. The present, they had to have a shared history, right? So I wanted to wait 6 years to do the present, you know? And the financier wanted to give us a weekend, so we made a compromise. We said, okay, we'll have a month.
Tried to create as many memories as we could.
Okay.
Frankie and the Unicorn, starring Frankie and the Unicorn.
And all this time, Ryan and Michelle and their daughter Faith were shooting home movies.
Frankie, it's me, your unicorn.
We went to a family portrait studio and had our pictures taken. We cooked there, cleaned there, took out the trash there.
We found this sick dog.
And what we were doing was trying to build memories for these actors, you know, and build a common history.
You got any money?
So that by the time the cameras rolled in the present,
I got some cash.
they have a shared experience.
10 money?
Uh-huh.
You got insurance?
Uh-huh.
The most difficult thing in that time was to get them to start arguing, you know? After we shot the past, I think between Ryan and Michelle and I, it would have been the best time any of us had ever had working, making a movie, or living in general, you know what I mean? It was such a special time, and none of us wanted to shoot the second half of the movie.
We built up this trust with each other and this, like, you know, pretty special working relationship. And then we had to tear it all down.
I can't ultimately a cinematic creature because all of those secrets that she has inside of her, that storm that's raging inside of her, is so apparent when you see her up on the screen. And she is just so brave.
It's an incredible performance, and it was motivating for me. You know, you're only as good as your partner.
The crazy thing about making this movie was that I've been attached to it for 6 years because of the script. And I show up to set to finally make this movie, and Derek says to me, "You have to surprise me. I want you to surprise me."
After working 12 years on a film and 66 drafts, and writing 1,224 storyboards and writing a manifesto to it and watching the movie every day in my head, I thought the danger was that once I'd started shooting, it would be
Splat on the ground.
Where's the nearest bus station? I've never had an experience before, like working with Derek. It's kind of the way you always dreamed you could work. He doesn't really tell you anything, he asks you. And those questions beget more questions, you know, so it kind of builds an enthusiasm.
I've never met anybody like him. He's a man born without an ego, apparently.
You know, me, I'm a filmmaker because I love people. I'm a collaborator. I believe film is a collaborative art form. I keep hearing this word, independent film. I've never considered myself an independent filmmaker. I'm a very dependent filmmaker. I depend on other people. Not physically naked, but emotionally naked. You know, actors who go up on the screen and be vulnerable.
You're actually good.
Okay, slow dance.
Ryan and Michelle confront their light and their darkness on screen, and they always went beyond what my expectations were for a scene and what my expectations were for a moment. And to me, they are the definition of brave and courageous actors.